night is feeling young, the streets are restless. My hands shaking like I need it. I don't know why you got me sinking so low. Yeah, girl, you got me restless. I got to know, don't keep me waiting. Said I love in motion, let's go. I can be yours. I don't know where we'll go from here, so let's feel what we wanna feel. I don't know where we'll go from here.
Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you might be. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Welcome to the Arm Historian live stream. Hey, Muscle Bike in chat, how you doing? Atlantis, good to see you. Oh boy, how are you guys? Had a good week, had a good weekend? Let me know, I'm dying to hear. David says, in Georgia, it's 11:17 a.m. Hi everyone, hi David, welcome to the stream if it's your first time here. I do this every Sunday at around the same time. It's good to see a Georgian in here. We've had a couple before, but when he corrects himself to PM, 11:17 p.m. That's not too different from my time. You're a little ahead of me there. Phil Woody, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Hope you're keeping well. So what's been happening? Let's quickly catch up on stuff happening in the arm wrestling world. There's been a pretty big tournament, right? Knuckles Up. Anyone caught that? Top Troll King says, well, Top Troll King, welcome in the stream. I haven't had a chance to watch it myself, so I'll be rather useless in discussing Knuckles Up. But that's not the main thing we're gonna do this live stream. For those of you who have been with me for a while, those of you who have been tuning into the live stream during the past year or something, probably know what this is. I've decided to do another fantasy league. I might as well make it into an annual thing. I think that's pretty fitting. Dedicate a couple of live streams to it each year. Seems like a good idea. What we're basically gonna do is set up our own hypothetical ideal stream, tournament. So an ideal fantasy league, so to speak, of arm wrestlers. The first stream, maybe the first stream and a half, is going to be dedicated to drafting all the arm wrestlers you want to see in the league. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to recommend some people you definitely want to see in the league. And if there's a couple of people that we aren't too sure about, I'll run a poll. That's basically the idea behind the entire thing, is to let you guys decide on who's gonna win in the end. So yeah, you'll be voting on each match. We'll do a couple of matches each live stream. Well, more than a couple, but we'll get a good handful of matches in each live stream. And yeah, you'll ultimately decide who will win each of those matches and who moves on through the bracket in the fantasy league. One special twist that's going to be different compared to last year's fantasy league is this year I'm going to try to get at least one guest on each live stream. So starting with the next live stream, someone's going to be joining us. And they'll basically run through the matches along with me. Run through the hypothetical fantasy matches along with me. So I think that'll be a good idea. We'll get an extra opinion in here. Someone who can kind of fill dead air too while I'm working behind the scenes, trying to make everything look a little better. So yeah, I think that'll be a good idea. Definitely something I'm gonna be doing, or at least do my very best to do it. I've already got a couple of people that I'm sure are interested. Yeah, I just need to nail some more people down, so to speak. David says Prime Voivoda. That's a good idea. We have to... That's what we're basically gonna do. Thank you so much, Muscle Bike, for the super chat. That's very generous. Saying he's eating half a chicken, so he'll be quiet for a bit. That's fine. Enjoy the chicken, Muscle Bike. I'll thank you again. So yeah, this live stream is basically going to be the first little part is going to be going over the rules. I want to do this together with you too, decide on some key things I think we need to get cleared out first. Like to give you guys a couple of things to think about already. Maybe is it going to be single elimination, a double elimination tournament? Which one do you think would best represent who would come out on top, you know? What would be the most interesting league to you personally? Would it use double elimination, triple elimination maybe? Single elimination, stuff like that. Also something we need to get cleared out is how many people are we going to allow into the league? I would make like 100 people or something, 100 entries, but I don't think that's feasible to finish in a manageable time frame. So probably I'm thinking 16 or 32 at the most, but I'm leaning towards 16. What do you guys think? I think that's a nice number. We can get a good variety of people in, but it's not too much that it becomes overwhelming, you know? Yeah, and then basically we gotta decide, is it going to be an open tournament, so for all weight classes? Or is it going to be one specific weight class that we're going to take a look at? I'm good with any option on that front. If you guys want to see a lighter weight class this time, I'm all for it. I'm all open to it. So yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to be running a poll on. And maybe that's a good starting poll, you know? I'm going to run that right now while I go over some other rules we need to decide on. Yeah, so people can vote on that and we can decide that already. So let's see here. Open or lighter weight class? That's basically going to be the options, right? So I'll start that poll. For those of you that don't know, if you open the chat window, there should be an option for you to vote. Whether you're watching on mobile or on desktop or on TV even, I think you'll have the option. Yeah, you can find it there. Now I did hear some people having difficulties seeing it before, but if you refresh your browser or yeah, the page on the app you're on or something, then usually it will resolve itself. Let's take a look. Right now it looks like people are leaning towards open, but I'll leave it running for a while. So yeah, those are the main things we need to decide on. And then one more big thing. Last time we did, how do I say this? Last time we decided that each athlete was gonna be in their all-time prime. So we basically went back in time, picked up the athlete when they were at their best, and dropped them in the tournament. We can do that now too, or we can do one where we take current shapes. There's a couple of things to consider, right, with each option. All-time prime is an interesting one because it'll allow us to create matches that we aren't necessarily able to ever see again and speculate about those. So that's an interesting aspect to it. But on the other hand, if we pick people in their current shape to enter in the fantasy league, then it might be more interesting in it might be an exercise in trying to predict possible matchup that might actually happen in the near future. So yeah, there's things to say for each of them, right? There's positives and negatives to each of them, but it's something that we need to decide. Tomer says, who wins? Cleve Dean versus Jeff Dabe. I think Cleve Dean would take that in his prime versus Jeff Dabe in his prime, for sure. But yeah, that's one of the things, right? If we take all-time prime, then that's one of the matches that could feasibly happen. On the other hand, if we take current shape, obviously, for obvious reasons, Cleve Dean wouldn't be able to be included, right? Hey, Arm Wrestling for Nerds, good to see you. Yeah, welcome. Arm Wrestling for Nerds, really great channel. Really friendly guy who's into statistical analysis and making the statistics himself about arm wrestling. Has a really awesome site, Arm Wrestling for Nerds. You definitely need to check out. Top Roll King says, I want to see... Top Troll King says, I want to see Joe Rogan versus Gorilla. Okay, an interesting one. Tomer says, Joe Rogan versus Grizzly Bear. We have a lot of Joe Rogans. Who knows, maybe Joe Rogan will be drafted today, right? Ali says, don't try to get Levan on, please. There are obvious downsides to that. Yeah, I'm definitely open to excluding Levan from this fantasy league. Now, a year ago, you probably wouldn't have heard me say that. But I think, yeah, it might be a good option. Something to consider. I'd love to see some more opinions on that. Should we include Levan in the fantasy league? Or would the entire league become a foregone conclusion if we do? Something important to decide. Hey, Devin's Forearm in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. Top Troll King says, but seriously speaking, do we need to buy pay-per-view for Imaginary League? Yes, I will be letting you guys view this for pay-per-view starting next week. It's gonna cost you $59.99 to watch the live stream here on the Arm Historian. So just a little heads up there. I think it's a fair price, you know. Obviously joking. Sweden Arm Wrestling Television says, hey Arm Historian, how you doing, brother? How you doing, Kriga? Good to see you, good to see you. Did you change your YouTube channel name, or is this like a different account? Because I just see SA. Or is it Spermy as is Creamy SA? Yeah, it's probably Spermy, right? How you doing, Spermy? Sorry that I thought you were Sweden Arm Wrestling Television. I guess it's the same abbreviation. Ali, how you doing? Says double. Okay, that's gonna be the next question, right? Double elimination, single elimination, triple elimination. Some things to consider there is double elimination will take longer, we'll have a losing side, but it might be a better representation and might make for some a better narrative, right, at the end of the day. I might try to turn these live streams into a more compact video by the end of the Fantasy League. Of like 10 to 20 minutes, something along those lines, of a cut-up version of the live stream. So yeah, your vote will matter and it will appear on the channel as a main video. Tomer says, to be honest, I think Prime Travis is top 5 right and left of all time. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you there. Yeah. I think left, there's a very good case to be made. And right, I don't really fault you for holding that opinion. I don't hold it myself, but yeah, I can see it. David says, idea for this kind of video. I always had imagined myself making Fantasy League of Arm Wrestling with some famous people. Like, let's say, Andre the Giant was arm wrestling versus Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's interesting too, yeah. That's a good concept too. In theory, I'm open to including non-arm wrestlers in this too, but it might be better to maybe keep it as a little bonus league at the end. What do you think? Might be a better idea. But yeah, I really like that. Top Troll King says, I want to see light so Paul Italia could fight Engin. Yeah, the whole business between those two is really unfortunate. I've talked about it on a previous live stream, so I won't waste too much time this time going over it. But I wish they would resolve their issues. I'd love to have Paul Italia on my live stream, but I'd also love to not be an enemy of the sport, especially since I'm really close to releasing my video on Engine, and I'd like it to stay up, if at all possible. But yeah, I might be in for a bumpy ride myself. Who knows?
SA donated $2 Canadian
Yeah, I know that now. Spermy, thank you for the generous donation. You didn't have to do that to clarify. But thank you, nonetheless. So yeah, the poll has been going for 7 minutes right now, and it seems like 75% of you want the open weight class. Which does mean a quarter of you is at least somewhat interested in getting a look at the lighter weight classes too. But yeah, we could... It's not like we're only gonna include super heavyweights, right? It's ultimately up to you guys to decide who's gonna join. And if there's a bunch of lighter weight people in there, then that's just the case, you know. Heat says, I'm at work right now and I don't know where we're at, but I vote for Michael Todd. Okay, Heat, I'll take note of it. School Ladyboy, how you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're keeping well. Ali says, I meant as a guest more than an arm wrestler, but I can see it that way too. Yeah, about Andre the Giant and stuff. Yeah, they could do either, right? So, I've got a couple of people in mind, but who do you guys think would be a good fit to come on the Fantasy League and commentate a couple of matches? Probably they'd be on for about half an hour. I think I'll contact Paulin. He's one of the first people to come on if he has time. It'd be great. White Wolf, how you doing? He's driving. Be sure to stay safe there, White Wolf. Hope you don't get too distracted. Top Troll King says Levan is OP. Okay, so that'll be one of the next things we'll take a vote on, right? I'll take note of it all, and we'll keep track of it too. The Schmoes is reporting for duty. Good to have you in the Schmo. We'll make good use of your expert opinion, of course. White Wolf says, what's up, Arm Gods Army? I think there's quite a couple of people here that I've met at Arm Gods, which I enjoyed greatly. A little snag there, but yeah, I'm sure it'll get resolved. Tomer says, I have my English Literature GCSEs tomorrow. I hope I'm saying that right because we don't have them here. Should I revise or watch the Army Historian? I think the answer is clear. Well, you're the one that said it. I'll never advise not to do well at school, but yeah. Priorities, right? The Schmo says Paul Maiden. Yeah, we could include Paul Maiden, the Schmo. I learn English from Engin's live streams. That's awesome, Top Troll King, if that's real. That's a special place to learn English. White Wolf says, I don't know what's going on, but I'm voting for Marcus Thompson. Schmo is a stellar dude indeed he is. So we'll end the first poll here, and we've decided on the open weight class. But it is rather close, so definitely don't feel obligated to only mention people in the super heavyweights. But we will be going forward with the open weight class. As we've decided right here, I'll add that to the rules. It's gonna be an open weight class for the Fantasy League. Okay, next thing we'll have to decide on. I'll start another poll here. Which formats? Right? Is it going to be single elimination? Double elimination? Or the elusive triple elimination? What's it gonna be, guys? Get your votes in now. The poll should be on the chat tab of the YouTube app on your phone or on desktop, whatever you're using. Get your votes in. If it doesn't appear to you, maybe refresh your browser, refresh the window for a second, and it'll appear, hopefully. Musclebag says, I learned how to get overly butthurt and sensitive on Engen's live streams. Tomer says, I'm doing well in science and math. Macbeth is easy, so I don't think I need to do revision. That's good. Listening to the army historian is just about as good as reading Macbeth, right? Right? I'm sure it is. Mr. Peanut, how you doing? This is a time thou anticipatest my dread exploits. Yes, indeed. I always anticipate them. You always show up, so I always anticipate them, Mr. Peanut. Good to have you in the live stream. Lefrenglish says, hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? How you doing? Lefrenglish, we're running a fantasy league here. We've done it before last year, but yeah, I'm trying to step up my game here, run it again, get a little more input from you guys this time, and include a special guest every live stream, hopefully, to co-commentate on possible matchups and give their opinions while you guys vote for the winner. So yeah, that'll be very exciting. Starting next week, we'll have our first guest on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot. This live stream, we're gonna be determining the rules and probably draft a couple of people in already. If we can't finish the complete draft, then we'll finish it up in the next live stream before we get started with the actual matches. So yeah, that's the concept. Right now we're voting on a couple of rules. The poll up right now is which format, and most people seem to be voting for triple elimination. Now keep in mind, guys, I'm very open to doing triple elimination, but it'll make the live streams last a lot longer, and yeah, it'll be a lot more live streams to contend with, because it'll be a lot more matches too. So yeah, it's probably gonna mean less time for each individual match, but there could be some big comeback stories, right? If we do triple elimination. So yeah, there's positives and negatives to each of these options, I feel. But right now, triple elimination is winning out over double and single, which is really interesting. Not what I expected, to be honest. Lefrenglish says, did anyone see the 100 kilograms trick curl from Vitali? I didn't. That's impressive though. That's really impressive. It's starting to storm here. You hear some thunder in the background. I do apologize. Maybe it's adding to the mood a little. Homer says, for the Fantasy League, are we doing left hand or right hand or both? Or depending on what we choose? That's another good one. I was going to do right hand, but I'll leave it up to you guys too. Good call there, Tomer. The Schmo says, definitely gonna lose a nail. Can't wolf it up. Drop the 55-pound dumbbell right on my big toe. High up where your nail starts, that sounds painful. If I don't kill someone, it's not because I'm not trying, says White Wolf. The best comeback story ever seen was an 80s poem movie, but I'm guessing that's not what you meant to write. Right now, triple elimination and double elimination are fighting for supremacy here, so be sure to get your votes in, make your votes count. In a way, in a sense, although this first stream might not be the most exciting one, it is the most important one. Because what we decide on here today is going to decide the course of the next 4 to 5 live streams. Hey Verbeer, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Right in time to let his voice be heard. We're voting on the rule set for our fantasy league that we're gonna be spending the next couple of weeks on. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I should put the previous live streams back online, right? I have them somewhere of the previous fantasy league. I believe Levan took that in the end. No surprise there. With a couple of upsets here and there. Xe, how you doing? Good to see you. Says hi everyone, what's going on? I'll quickly summarize for you, Xe. We're doing a fantasy league here, a hypothetical fantasy league, and right now we're deciding on all the rules. We've already decided on going with the open weight class, which I'm sorry for the people who voted for lighter weight classes. I hope you'll still tune in. I noticed when I decided it was going to be the open weight class, quite a couple of people dropped out of the live stream. So yeah, I guess that goes with the territory. I can't please everyone, but rest assured, you'll definitely have a chance in a future edition of these, right? If these do well, if these are fun to do and enough people tune in, then I'll definitely be doing more than one a year, if at all possible. So yeah, if your choice doesn't get picked this time, don't fret. It'll still be fun. I'm sure some other choices, some other options that you pick will get chosen. So yeah, keep tuning in, and I'm sure eventually we'll get to lighter weight classes too. Double elimination seems to have overtaken triple elimination, which is a little bit of a relief, if I'm being honest. Didn't mean to sway you too much there, but yeah, triple elimination is nice, but it would take a lot of time for sure. So yeah, as far as guests go, I definitely want to have Paul Lin on. That's one of the people that has helped me before with one of my videos and seems willing a lot to sacrifice a little bit of time to help a content creator out. And I just think in general he's a knowledgeable guy, so that would be good. Maybe Eric Roussin, if he's up for it. I would love to have him on again. I think that would be a great choice too. Who else? I'd love to have other content creators on too. Not only arm wrestlers or people deep within the arm wrestling world, but also some other content creators. Love to have Concrete Elbow on. And I'm not even joking about that. Maybe Devin's forearm is willing. Who's in chat right now, I think. We can do a live stream too where we're maybe getting a couple of members on to each comment on one match. That could be a fun one. I like that one. Hey, Atlantis says out making deliveries. What's up, gents? What's up, Atlantis? Hope you're keeping well on your deliveries. Doing a little fancy league here. Tomer says, who wins? Prime Don Underwood or Prime Devon on the WAL table? Remember in 2010, Don pinned Devon easy, but went off the back of the pads. Yeah, I still think Devon would win that, but seeing as WAL gives quite a bit of leeway, I see what you're saying there. That Don Underwood, known to stretch the limits even more than Devon perhaps, might get a pin on Devon, who knows. White Wolf says, feck everyone, you do you. Yeah, that's a mentality I have to come more to terms with, but on the other hand, I'm here as part of a community, right? I think over the past year, here at the Arm Historian channel, we've built up quite a nice little community within the arm wrestling world that I very much come to enjoy meeting every week. So the more interaction I can get with you guys, the more fun it is for me too. The more I can include you guys and your opinions, the more fun it is for me. So it's a selfish decision too, for sure. Tomer says just because it's the open class doesn't mean non-open class pullers don't have a chance, like Oleg Zok. He gave Levan problems on the left. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely those outliers, right? You don't have to look further than Jombers Inc., who for a long time dominated the open weight class, while not being a true super heavyweight, right? In the modern sense of the word. So yeah, I think we can close this poll. It's been 10 minutes. Double elimination, 1 out in the end. But like I said before, don't worry. I'm sure we'll have a triple elimination or even a single elimination tournament too. But yeah, we'll add that to the rules here. Awesome. Second one down. It's going to be an open weight class tournament. Double elimination, I was about to write. Double elimination, here we go. So yeah, open weight class, double elimination tournament. Those are the 2 rules we've established. Let's quickly do a left-right one. You never know. It could be that people are interested in seeing the left arm this time, right? Which arm? A very important one. I'll put the left one first. And then right. Let your voices be heard, people. Vote in the poll, which should be available in the chat. Xay says, how close is your video about Engin to be released? Close, but it's been close for quite a while now. Because I keep adding new things. It's already running up quite high in view time. So I have to kind of decide, am I gonna cut some stuff? I've even contemplated making a 2-parter out of it. I don't know yet. Probably I'll do a 1-parter, just as a whole. But yeah, it's getting up there. But I'm basically in the mid to late editing stages of the process. Yeah, there's a couple of parts that I haven't edited at all. A couple of newer parts. But most of it is, yeah, after a once over, ready to go. So yeah, unfortunately I can't give you an exact time frame on it. But it's gonna be sooner rather than later, for sure. I've been working a long time on this one. Yeah, I hope it does well, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Muscle Bikes is left and right each deserve their own leagues. That's true. If this league does well, we might as well do a left one right after, right? I think it's kind of a good format to get some people on the stream too, some guests we can talk to, and not necessarily in a very strict interview format, right? We can still talk and shoot the shit a little with our guests, but yeah, within the context of the Fantasy League, I think giving us a subject to talk about and kind of hear their insights on how they think a potential hypothetical matchup would go is a really good thing, and yeah, could be really fun. Bear says, I had my usual Saturday getting destroyed by the Arm Historian. Yeah, it was a good training though. And don't underestimate yourself, Verbeer. Don't sell yourself short there. Very strong for your weight. Muscle Bike says, I know the feeling. He's kind enough to compliment me on my strength, but I had nothing for him for now. I'm sure that's for now, Muscle Bike, and indeed you were strong. But that's the case with a lot of people who don't necessarily have table time multiple times a week. You can feel they're really strong, you know? Certain people are, you can feel their strength, but they're not necessarily going in the right direction with it, if that makes sense. A lot of people that join our practice at first, Yeah, they have the same thing going on. I think that's a pretty universal thing, right? With every sport, some people might have some natural ability for the sport. It might have some physical advantages just in a genetic way for a sport, but yeah, if you don't practice it regularly, you're not going to be able to direct that potential in the right direction, I think. And I think for sure that goes for arm wrestling too. Haverbear says, indeed, like fighting a kind of wall. No. That's going too far, guys. I'm definitely not a wall. If you ever see me at a tournament, you'll notice that I'm very beatable and far from a wall in any sense. I lose plenty of times. But yeah, it seems like Wright is winning quite convincingly, although I must say about 30% of you voted for the left arm, so there is some interest there for sure. We might have to do a left arm league right after the right one, if we can at all. Spermy says, I'd do table time if I had a table. Thinking of fabricating one with my son. That's a great idea. Yeah. We made our own table too, at first. We used it for, I don't know, I want to say about a year. And then we switched over to ordering a real table, quote unquote. But the homemade table, yeah, served us very well. Certainly wasn't a waste of time or money to build it. Levan's forearm says, make left arm great again. R.I.P. pumpkin training. Yeah, what's the news with Devon, guys? I heard the Yakan match was cancelled. Very interesting. Yeah, you should do it, Spermies. You should create a table, especially if it's a bonding experience with your son. Yeah, for sure. Really great guy, Spermy. Muscle Bike 2, met both of them while I went to Ireland at Armgots. Awesome people. Mr. Peanut says, ELO ratings. Weekly Fantasy League select team each week. All events, pick one puller from each weight available. Gain points from ELO rating from each puller. This way every event counts. Yeah, that's kind of the classic football fantasy league style, right? Or something like that. I'm not too familiar with football, I'm gonna be honest. With American football, that is. But yeah, that seems really interesting too. I think we don't have enough people to pull that off in a live stream setting. So I'll go with this format, but that's a really good idea too. I'll end this poll. I think Wright is pretty clearly the winner here. Although, like I said, quite some interest in left arm too. We'll do that a little later. So for now, it's going to be open weight class, double elimination on the right arm. Okay. What else did we say we had to decide on, guys? Help me out here. Help me jog my memory a little bit. I believe we had to decide on if we're going to include Levan and how many people are going to be in the league, right? I think those are two things we still have to decide on. So I'll do the how many people should we allow into the league. I'll give a couple of options, right? How many openings in the league? Wall table or no wall table? Yeah, that's a good call too. We might do some of those rules too. Like, which league are we gonna use as a base, like a rule base? That's a good point. Muscle Bike says, can we include horror movie characters, Arm Historian? You can. I'm open to it if enough people want it. But maybe we should keep like the fantasy characters or the non-arm wrestlers, so to speak, to a separate league. I think that could be a really fun league too. Devon's Forum says, wall girls on everything too. Good idea. I'll replace all their heads with arms. And then we'll have the arm girls coming out between rounds. Levan officially retired. Devon took his soul, says Roy Lev. A lot of people are saying that, although I don't know if that's quite true. Roy Lev. How many openings in the league? I'll give 8, 16, 24, or 32, right? Something like that. In increments of 8. That seems like a good way to do it. So yeah, the poll is on. Get your votes in the chat window. Let your voices be heard. How many people? Keep into consideration before you vote that time is of the essence, right? Choosing how many people are entering the tournament is gonna largely influence how long the entire tournament is gonna take. And seeing as I only go live once a week, usually, I might bump that number up a bit if the live streams do well. But since I only go live once a week, keep in mind that it might take quite a while if we choose a high number here. Other than that, choose what you want. Don't let me influence you too much. It is about what we would consider as a group our ideal fantasy league, right? How dare you, arm historian? How dare I change the WAL girls to arm girls? It's the natural progression. It's the next step in evolution, Devon's forearm. As a fellow arm, you should know, right? Spermy says Devon will arm wrestle till he dies. Dude is taking a much-deserved break from competition. Yeah, that's largely how I see it too. Yeah, that sounds like a good take on it. For sure. Devil's Forearm says they have faces. Very nice ones. That's true though. Atlantis says, I didn't get to vote in the other one. I was driving. Yeah, here at Arm Historian, we want to be very clear that we don't encourage voting on our fantasy league while driving. Just to make that crystal clear. Yeah, don't do that. Just pull over. Just pull over and vote and then start driving again. That seems way more sensible. EcoCar says heart says 24, mine says 16. I hear you. Yeah, same with me. I want to get a lot of people in, but I also want to keep it manageable. So yeah, definitely agree there, EcoCars. Atlantis says 24 will take too long. Maybe. Maybe. It's on the edge, right? I think something to consider is, if I want to keep this to 4 or 5 live streams, it'll just limit the time we can spend on each match, if that makes sense. So instead of making it take longer, each match will get a little less airtime. The higher number you pick, the shorter each match will take, the more matches you'll have, you know what I mean? I think that's how I'll approach it. But yeah, undoubtedly, if you pick a higher number, probably, I won't say undoubtedly again, but probably there will be more live streams too. It's kind of a necessity. These things always take longer than I anticipate. I'm trying to get better at guesstimating, but yeah, it's never on the nose exactly spot on. Atlantis says, for the record, Devon should have won the last league. There was fraudulent behavior involved. Yeah, something else we need to take a look at. I'm sure that during these rules, like the rules live streams and the drafting, I don't think we'll get a lot of fraudulent voting there. But last time we did get what I suspect is fraudulent voting. Viewership shot up by about 20 viewers in a matter of seconds. Yeah, a lot of votes came in on one person, which kind of skewed the results, right? So we'll find a way around that this time. I'll have to think on what that exactly would entail, but I'll try my best to negate that as much as possible. Got a couple of ideas on that front, but I won't mention them because that'll make it easier for people to circumvent them anyways. Atlantis says Levan would be a natural at farming. Yeah, wouldn't need a mule, right? Could just do everything himself. Levan would kill it on the farm. Why are we all of a sudden on Levan as a farmer? Devin said that after his match with Levan, he's going to take on interpretive dancing for a while until he gathered himself together against his Roy Lev. I can see him doing that. Tomer, welcome back. Mr. Peanut says, with so many variables, I think if you set league with 8 players, it will be easier to manage as you work out bugs. Once you have working model and divisions, 18 blocks, prototype division 1. Yeah, I can definitely see that as a way to go too. It seems like chat largely disagrees with you, judging by the poll. That being said, guys, get your votes in. A large number of you didn't vote yet. I do encourage you to let your voices be heard. I'll say it once again. Yeah, this live stream is determining the course of quite a lot of future live streams. So in a way, in a sense, it's the most crucial one of the entire Fantasy League. Muscle Bike says agreed, Peanut, less is more to some extent. Good call on that. It seems like most of you want 24 openings in the Fantasy League, 24 participating athletes. I'll leave it open for a couple more minutes there, but it looks like it's close between 16 and 24. So if you can, get your votes in there. It's the last time I'll mention it. Top Troll King says, but Levan is not natural, really? You don't say. Atlantis is waiting for an order at the moment. Well, I hope I'm keeping you at least somewhat entertained while you're waiting, Atlantis. And stay safe on your delivering. It seems like it's very close between 16 and 24, so I'll leave it running for like a minute and a half or something like that. I'll keep my eye on the timer. Once it hits 9 minutes, then I'll probably close it. But right now, 45% of you wants 24 people in, 40% of you want 16 people in, 32% of you want, 15% of you want 32 people in, rather, and a whopping 0% of you, and that's excluding Mr. Peanut, I'm guessing, wants 8 people in. So yeah, that's how the poll is looking right now. It's looking to be 24 people, which is fine, I think. Might be a little much, but I think it's still manageable. I believe in the previous league we even did 32, so I'm not quite sure anymore. Can't quite remember. Okay, Tomer. I'll catch you in the next live stream if you have time. Good luck on your tests that are coming up soon. Study well and go in confidence. You got this. Yeah, couple seconds left, guys. Get your votes in last minute here if you can. Right now I'll go over the rules we have. It's going to be an open weight class, double elimination, right arm tournament. So those are the rules we have. We have, I think, 2 or 3 more questions that need answering after this. And yeah, then we're ready to get the draft started. I think we'll get the draft started today. the first couple of picks, and then we'll finish it up next live stream. But yeah, I do plan on having a guest on already next live stream. So either he's gonna help with the draft, or we're gonna do the first couple of matches already. That's something, yeah, that we need to see what we have time for. I might start to live stream a little earlier next week, so I can go a little longer. But I'll close the poll. I think the people have spoken, 24 people, 24 openings in the league. There we go. A very close call between 24 and 16 people. But in the end, yeah, 24 just barely managed to eke out a victory there. So, open weight class, 24 athletes. We'll keep that one bold, because I think it's a very important one. 24 athletes, open weight class, double elimination, right arm tournament. Now, the next one. I think before we decide if we're gonna have Levan in this league, we need to decide if it's an all-time prime league or a current state league. And what I mean with that is, are we going to time travel and pick people, athletes from when they were in their all-time prime? Or are we going to stick with people's current physical state? Let's say at their last super match. Yeah. So I think that's an important one. I'll run the poll. Something to keep in mind, there's, of course, like every one of these decisions, there's a benefit and a disadvantage. I think one of the positives to having an all-time prime league is we can go really hard on the fantasy, right? We can take Cleve Dean in all-time prime versus, I'm just saying something, Morozov in his all-time prime, which is probably around this time, but that's a matchup we could have, right? In that kind of league. On the other hand, if we go for their current physical state, it might be more interesting to be able to talk about potential matchups that might actually happen in the near future, right? It might have more of a bearing on actually making predictions of real upcoming matches. And we might have a better way to judge who would win based on recent events. So yeah, there's something to be said for each of them. I'm very interested in finding out which one you guys would prefer, because I have no clue. I really don't know. All the other questions I kind of had an idea on what you guys wanted, but this one I don't have any clue. So, what kind of league? Or how should I frame this? I'll just say what kind of league. I think that's clear enough. Is it going to be an all-time prime league? So athletes in their all-time prime? Or is it athletes in their current shape? Or I'll ask the question, who can join? So who can be drafted, who can join? Athletes in their all-time prime? Or current form athletes? There we go. The poll is up. Very interested in this one. Get your votes in. It's a crucial one. Yeah, it's basically gonna determine who we can choose from, right? Really interested in seeing what you guys think. I might put this one up on screen for a second. Well, for a couple of minutes, if I can here. Hang on while I do that for you guys. I'm setting it up here so that you those of you that aren't voting or are just watching along and not interacting can have a sense too of how the poll is going, right? That's something that I'll make a big effort towards during the actual matches too. I think it's important to keep people engaged that way, right? Takes a while to set up here, so I do apologize. But in the meanwhile, get your votes in. I'm, like I said, really interested in seeing what you guys decide on this one. Because I have no clue what you're leaning towards. Okay, here we go. I'm almost done here, guys. It might not be the cleanest, but yeah, gets the job done, right? Here we go. The poll is on on stream. 67% of you are voting for current form athletes, while 33% of you want athletes in their all-time prime. So for people just jumping in, we're deciding on the rule set for our big fancy league here that's going to be playing out throughout the next weeks on the live stream. You guys are going to be voting for who wins in each matchup. There's going to be, I'm going to jump over to the rules here. There's going to be 24 athletes joining an open weight class double elimination right arm tournament so far. Those are the rules we've decided on communally, and right now we're deciding on, are the athletes going to be in their all-time prime? So are we basically going to go back in time for a couple of them and pick up Cleve Dean, so to speak, in the 80s or whenever he was at his prime according to you? Or are we going to choose athletes in their current form? Really important decision. Gonna shape the tournament for sure. Mr. Peanut says there's no cheating in arm wrestling, just bad referees. I like that one, Mr. Peanut. I'm gonna add that to the Mr. Peanut quotes. The big book of Mr. Peanut quotes. It's quite a couple now that I've really enjoyed. Devin's Forearm says, yes, real world upcoming predictions would rock. Well, if that's the way you feel, then I urge you to vote for current form athletes. If, on the other hand, you want to see more real hypothetical, high fancy matches, so to speak, in a sense that we're going to be able to travel back in time and pick some athletes in their all-time prime, then vote for the first option in the poll. I see only about half of you, a little more, have voted right now. So yeah, if you can, just very quickly get your vote in. If you aren't and you're just along for the ride, of course, that's more than fine too. Roy Left says current form. Yeah, if it's not clear, current form athletes just means athletes how they are right now. So if we would organize a league and you could send out invitations to athletes, whoever you wanted to join the league, yeah, that's what current form means. So right now, athletes in their current form. Mr. Peanut, the older I get, the better I was, like a fine wine, right? Levan is like a god in arm wrestling. Yeah, that's gonna be one of our next decisions. Are we gonna include Levan? Is the entire league a foregone conclusion? If we include Levan? Maybe. Maybe it's best not to include him. Or maybe it doesn't make sense not to include him. Right now, all-time prime is winning out just barely over current form athletes. So, yeah. Get your votes in. Let your voices be heard. This is gonna decide a lot. We did all-time prime last time, I believe. Although we did experiment with both of them before, if I'm not mistaken. Hey here, Dylan, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. You missed table time with Arm Historian, indeed you did. But we'd be happy to have you next time, of course. You're always welcome to train with us, Gert. Lefrenglish has gotta go. My friends in the ER said I've gotta miss the Fantasy League. No worries, Lefrenglish. I hope your friend is fine. Get there safely, don't drive too fast. Yeah, this is just the warm-up, so to speak. Although very important and crucial to the other live streams. Right now we're determining the rules and maybe drafting a couple of people into the roster. So yeah, you'll definitely get to join in during the next live streams. You haven't missed out on too much. Once again, for those that don't know, get your votes in the chat. Open chat for just a second if you can. If you're driving, don't do that. But if you can, open chat a second. Tick whichever you would like, all-time prime or current form, as it's really important to, yeah, the rest of the league, right? Hey TOS Move, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Dan John is in the chat. How you doing, Dan John? Welcome in the chat. Get your votes in if you haven't already, guys. Especially people that have just entered the live stream. Top Troll King says Levan already killed all interest in the real life open class. We should have at least imaginary. It's actually a good point, I think. But I'll leave it up to you guys. So yeah, 53% of you have voted for all-time prime. While 47% of you want athletes in their current form to join. I'll reiterate once more for the last time, all-time prime has as a benefit we can do some truly imaginative matches, right? We can pick some people that maybe aren't with us anymore, have retired from arm wrestling, and speculate. It's largely based on a lot of speculating, right, and opinions, which is fun too. Or we can pick current form athletes and only have athletes enter how they are right now or how they were in their last match. So that'll provide more a sense of how would those matches go if they actually happened right now. It could provide us with more of an insight on this future match that's set to happen at this tournament. What do people really think of it? Remember, we are inviting people to join the live stream as a guest on each of the following live streams that has to do with the Fantasy League, right? So we are inviting people as a guest to give their opinions on an amount of matches, probably about 5 matches each live stream, maybe a little more. And they'll give their opinions too. So keep that in mind as you're voting for these rules. There is going to be another person, probably someone intimately familiar with arm wrestling, joining us and giving us their insights as we vote for who will eventually win the tournament, right? Samet says, are you going to make a bracket? Yes, indeed. I did this one last year already too. I did a Fantasy League too, and yes, we'll be doing a bracket. Of course, we will summit, and each match of that bracket, you guys will be determining the outcome of. While myself and a different guest each week, will give their live opinions and commentary, and we might even throw in an episode of the live stream where we invite you guys or some of the members to call in and give us their opinions on a match or two. So yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. All-Time Prime is still winning with 59% of the votes now. They're stretching their lead a little. Gert says, keep hearing a fancy league. It might be a fancy fantasy league. Yeah, might be both, Gert. But yeah, I did mean to say Fantasy League instead of Fancy League, but why not both, right? Why not both? Let me check real quick, guys, if the fix is happening later tonight. I'm not quite sure. I'll go a little late either way, over when I usually hand it over to Neil. But I do want to do a quick check here if he's going live tonight. If he is, then I'll try to keep the live stream to a reasonable hour, right? I'll try to end at a reasonable hour. Right now, I don't see any live stream planned on his channel, so we're good for now. We can keep going. Here Dylan says, it's my bad, ARM historian. No. You criticized me for saying fancy instead of fantasy. Devin's forum says Levan wins everything in real life. He won't need to win our fantasy league too. Yeah, and you already did, I believe. You already won the last one, which surprised no one. While we listen to these soothing guitar sounds, I'll close the poll soon. Right now, the all-time prime seems to be winning. Which is interesting. I think it'll make one of our guests happy. One of our potential guests. I don't want to speak out of turn here, but one of the people I want on is a real arm wrestling history buff. Hint, hint. So, yeah. That'll make him happy, I think. I'll close the poll in 1 minute. I think the lead is getting bigger and bigger of all-time prime. I'll go over the rules one more time here. "24 athletes will be joining our fantasy league. It'll be an open weight class league, so anyone, any weight can join. We'll be doing double elimination, so there will be a chance after one knockout for a person to return through the loser's bracket. And then it'll be on the right arm. There's, I think, 1 or 2 more questions we need answered after this one, and then we're good to go. We'll get going on the draft, I think, today, although I'm not too sure, seeing as how long this is taking, but I think we'll draft a couple of people today already, and then we'll finish the draft off next live stream and start on the matches together with a guest, a live stream guest there. But right now, it seems all-time prime is taking it over current form by, yeah, quite a large margin, right? It's not that overwhelming, but 61 to 39% seems quite convincingly, right? So yeah, I'll end it there. It'll be an all-time prime fantasy league, right? Sorry for those of you that have voted for a current form, but we'll get to that too, I'm sure, and this will be fun too. So, athletes in their 24 athletes, I'll put it here, in their all-time prime. There we go. So those are the rules we have so far. 24 athletes in their all-time prime will be entering our fantasy league. It will be an open weight class tournament, double elimination on the right arm. Gertillen says, I voted current form, but that is democracy for you indeed. Democracy manifest, right? A succulent Chinese meal delivered to you guys. Next question, a very vital one. Will we be including Levan in the fantasy league? Can Levan join the league? Devin's form is already reading. simple yes or no. Can Levan join the league? I'm very interested in seeing what you guys think here. Get your votes in. Open the little chat tab. On desktop it's very clear, I think. On mobile you might have to look for it a little. Thanks for that, YouTube. But yeah, get your votes in. Let's pull the poll up here so we can take a look. Where is it? Right here, I think. Yeah, here we go. Can Levan join the league? Yes or no? Very simple question, very straightforward, but it might have large consequences for the league. Levan is the undisputed number 1 now. Keep in mind, we are doing 24 athletes in their all-time prime, which Levan is the number 1 right now. And I know a lot of people believe Levan is also the number 1 strongest of all time. But I don't think everyone thinks that way. I think some people think other athletes in their prime can beat the current Levan. Maybe that's unrealistic of those people, but some people undoubtedly think that way, right? So those people might want to vote yes, because they think even with Levan in the league, the winner won't be a foregone conclusion, and Levan can still be beaten by, I'm just pulling a name out of the hat, a prime Cleve Dean, for example. TOS Move says, sorry, Levan, we'll have to move on without you. Looks like most people are leaning that way right now. I don't think I'll leave the poll open for too long if it stays this one-sided. Right now, 90% of you have voted to kick Levan out of the league. Not even let him in the first place, right? Just so we're clear, this is Levan. Can he join the league? Get your votes in, only 10 votes. Really low sample size, 11 votes now. Get them in if you can, guys. Just a quick tap on yes or no. Do you want Levan in the league? Spermy says, let's take Levan out of it. Robert says, nope. He only pulls 2 matches max a year, says Robert. That's true. TOS Moose says it would be more interesting with him in it. Okay, TOS. So I guess we know you're one of the 2 people that seem to have voted for yes, although yes is rising. Some people do want Levan in the league. Nearly a quarter of you, it seems. Spermy says not at all interesting with him in it. White Wolf says only if handicapped or kneecapped, if arm gods rules. It isn't quite a hardcore league, I'm afraid. No electrified or pinned pads. If that makes sense. Xay says, sorry Levan, you are too strong for our league. Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? But that might be the reality we live in. Gertillen says, oh, that's Levan? Had no idea. Yeah, I'm here to teach you guys, right? All about arm wrestling. The guy you're seeing on screen now, that's Levan. The current number 1 in arm wrestling. You're welcome. TOS Move. Mistyped. It's lonely at the top. Yeah. Yeah, right now it seems you guys are leaning towards banning Levan from the league. With 79% of you voting to keep him out of it. Keep it a Levan-free affair. White Wolf says, can we bring in Brian Shaw? Yes. Yes. Once we get started with the drafting, I'll be taking a look at who you guys want in, and you can basically throw names at me. I'll be writing them down, and if some names are under dispute by people in the chat, we'll throw it up for a vote. Simple as that. So yeah, you can propose to have Brian Shaw in the league. to invite Brian Shaw. But if someone says you're crazy for doing that, I don't want Brian Shaw, then we'll throw up a poll again and the people can decide. White Wolf says, okay, Levan can come in if Shaw is allowed. Eric Roussin, one of the people I want to invite on to join in one of the future live streams of the Fantasy League to comment on a couple of matches if he so chooses, if he can spare some of his precious time there. It says Cleve Dean eventually couldn't pull in arm wrestling tournaments because he was too dominant. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds very familiar. And that's just a small sample of some of the insights you'll be able to enjoy if Eric Roussin ever decides to join one of the episodes of the Fantasy League here. Devin's Forearm wants to have Jason Voorhees in. Interesting one. So yeah, what else do you guys think we need to decide on before we get to the draft? 24 athletes in their all-time prime, open weight class, double elimination tournament on the right arm, and it's looking like Levan will be banned. Do we have to ban other people? Is it worth it to ban other people? Do we want to ban some other big names from history? Personally, I don't think so, but yeah. The Claymore in chat, how you doing, the Claymore? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Top Troll King says, if you will wake me up in the middle of the night and ask what can you see, Top Troll King will say sun eclipses or Levan's super matches. I wouldn't be able to answer. Having nightmares about Levan's dominance there. What I take from that comment. Hope you're keeping well, James Stewart, by the way, welcome. Another very nice guy I met at Arm God, great arm wrestler, and yeah, just an extremely nice guy. He's putting out content too, so check him out if you haven't already. I think you guys could learn a little bit from his training. I know I can. Verbeer says, can we bring in Sylvester Stallone as Lincoln Hawk? That might be a little too fantasy, but it might be a question worth asking you guys, right? Can we include non-arm wrestlers? Yeah, Levan seems to be out, right? Thank you, Devin's Forearm, for linking the Claymore's YouTube channel there. Go check him out if you haven't already, guys. Awesome guy and has a lot of great insights. I'm gonna check up on the fix 1 second. Make sure they haven't gone live without me knowing. Though I don't think I'm seeing their stream up right now. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a fix up right now, so that's cool. We can keep going. Right now only 17 people voted. So if you haven't already, please consider getting your vote in. The more people we can vote, we can have voting, the more representative the tournament will be of something people would actually want to happen, right? But it does seem like most people want Levan out of here, banned from the Fantasy League, which is quite understandable. I get it. Claymore has a big match coming up with the Welsh Wolverine, as Bernie just told me in the chat. I hope you'll do well, Claymore. I'm sure you will. I'll be rooting for you for sure. I'll be watching. I watched the Arm God Super match a couple of days ago of you versus Matej Verangi, right? Good match. Was cheering you up live. really awesome to see. I'll close the poll. I think it's pretty decisive. 3/4 of you want Levan banned from the league. The people have spoken. Sorry, Levan. I think that's the end of the road for you already. Not for me, for you. But by Levan. No, don't ban me. Okay, and he's gone. So yeah, very interesting. I'll put a ban list. Ban list, Levan. If you guys want to ban someone else, feel free to bring it up. We can bring it to a vote. But right now, I don't really think it's necessary, personally. But yeah, if you guys have a good reason for why you should ban someone else, let me hear it. Then we might consider it. But right now, I think we have most questions answered, right? 24 athletes in their all-time prime will be competing in an open weight class, double elimination right arm tournament, where Levan is banned. One more question we need answered is which rule set? Another pretty vital one. It'll be the last poll I'll start, I believe. And then we can move on to the draft. We'll draft maybe 3 people in already. And then during the next live stream, we'll draft a complete roster with a special guest joining us. And the Claymore says, ban guys who don't pull a title defense every year. Yeah, that makes sense, the Claymore, and I do agree with you. Although this tournament is people in their all-time prime throughout history. So yeah, there's gonna be some people that haven't pulled in quite a couple of decades that might be joining the league even. But it'll be interesting. But yeah, the question we needed answering is which rule set? I'm gonna put 4 in here if I can even remember 4. I'll put the WAF in there. Very strict. I watched the WAF, the Europeans, very recently, this weekend and last week. And I must say, some calls on there, yeah, way too strict, if you ask me. Couldn't even tell it was an elbow foul at certain points. So yeah, which would lead some people to win that wouldn't necessarily win under other rule sets. Second rule set, WAL. I think the WAL is mostly on the other side of the spectrum, right, as a WAF. Looser rule sets, bigger pads, yeah, totally different side of the coin, I think. We'll add another option, which is East versus West. Now, I would describe East versus West as somewhat of a hybrid, right? I think, to be honest, they're moving the needle more and more towards wall. They're not close to wall, don't get me wrong, but they're moving the needle more away from WAF and more towards WAL. But I think East versus West is a pretty nice mix of the two, right? James M says, Fantasy League. Gay shit. Thanks for that, James M. For that very valued opinion there. What the hell is this? Says James M. I'm sure it's hard for you to comprehend, James, but yeah, if you follow along, I'm sure you'll get the gist of it eventually. The Claymore says, I like WAF setup, but WAL during the match. That makes sense to me. Is there a 4th set of rules we want to include here? I can include PAL, but I think they mostly follow WAF, right? Mostly. I'll just keep it at those 3, right? WAF, WAL, East versus West. Here we go. Can I remove this option? Yes, here we go. Okay. Which rule sets? Get your votes in now. Another pretty important poll that's going to decide a big part of the league, right? Of the outcome of the matches. some people might do better in a WAF style setting rule set than in a WAL style rule set and vice versa. Yeah, and like I said, I think East versus West is kind of a middle ground between the two, right? Take a quick drink there. It's getting kind of warm here where I'm at. Summer is getting underway a little bit. Turn the music down a little too. I think I had it on quite loud. So yeah, let's take a look at the poll where we're at. Right now, 80% of you wants a WAL rule set. So quite loose rule set. Pick WAF, says White Wolf. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. Certainly seeing as they have 0 votes right now, but it seems WAL is getting most of the votes. So just a quick reminder, WAL I think is more lenient in some ways. I think elbow fouls and running fouls. They do go with running fouls, right? I think East versus West doesn't, neither does WAF. So that's a big difference. Their pads are also bigger. Although I think East versus West does have bigger pads than standard WAF pads right now. I could be mistaken, but I think they changed their pads to be more like WAL pads. Still not quite as big, but yeah, bigger. The Claymore says WAF, it's better to be fast off the go. Yeah, that's true. Devin's Forearm says WAL had it right. Arm Gods is basically WAL, but with better elbow pads. Muscle Bike says, do you North Americans have those sweets called Ice Gems? Coach Ray's fresh haircut looks the spitting image of them. An interesting dig at Coach Ray there. Maybe it's a compliment, I don't know. The Happy Hooker says, I really like watching WAL. I think a lot of people do too. I think for a lot of people that have entered the sport in the last decade or something, I think that's their first introduction to arm wrestling. Although probably during the last couple of years it has switched to East versus West, I'm guessing, or King of the Table. But I do think a lot of people got introduced to the competitive aspect of the sport by watching WAL. So yeah, it's not a big surprise that most of you are voting for WAL, although I do have to note that only 8 people voted, which isn't the biggest sample size right now. I think people are getting fed up with discussing the rules, which is fair enough. I understand. Gertillen says it's not the size of the pad that matters, but how you smash it. That's a good one, Gert. Arm Gods is the British / global / hooligan equivalent of WAL, only with more beer and a real crowd. I can certainly attest to those last couple of statements there. Was there live, and there's certainly a lot of drinking going on. Claymore says competition is okay with WAF setup. WAL super matches. Yeah, it seems like 11% of you want WAF, 67% of you want WAL, and 22% of you want East versus West. I'm gonna end this poll right now with WAL winning. I'll probably stick to that, but seeing as it's a very small sample size with only 9 votes in, and I think there's about 20 or 25 or something people online right now watching, or 21 I guess, Yeah, so only a small percentage of you voted. So I might rerun this poll at a later date before we get started with the actual tournament. But right now it'll be WAL until further notice. That's what it's gonna be. Roy Left says, what about East versus West? Oh, never mind, it's there. Yes, it was there as an option. Indeed. Yeah, but it didn't win out. So right now, this is where we're at, right? WAL rule sets. So yeah, these are the rules we have for the tournament. 24 athletes in their all-time prime, open weight class, double elimination, right arm, WAL rule set, and Levan on the ban list. I think it's nice. I think we've set up a good set of ground rules. If there's anything else that you guys think is important to decide on, let me know. Also, after this live stream has ended, feel free to send me a PM on any of my socials, Discord, whatever, or even in a comment on this video if you're watching this as a playback. Yeah, your voice is still important. Tell me in the comments, and we'll probably get to it during the next live stream. Right now, I think we're gonna be entering our first 3 athletes of the league. So we're gonna start the draft. We're gonna make our roster. Seeing as it's already pretty late here, I'm not going to be able to finish the roster. As I said, it's going to be about 3 athletes that we're going to include now out of 24. So we still have a long way to go. But in the next live stream, we'll recruit every single one of them, and we'll start with the first matches. I want to remind you guys, there is going to be a special guest during the next episode. If there isn't, I'm sorry, but there should be one. Let's keep it at that. So yeah, something to look forward to. There's going to be another person giving their opinions, their expert opinions on, yeah, who wins in a match, right? That's what this is all about at the end of the day. Muscle Bike says, league looking great so far. Awesome. A Bart as a ref. Muscle Bike says, just lacking a dictator. I'll be your dictator, baby. You're all enemies of the sport, don't you know? I think I'd make a terrible dictator. Gertillen says, right, you'll need to settle on a fantasy referee. That's a good one to vote on, actually. I'll make a poll next live stream about who'll be the referee. I'll put it on here so I'll remember. I'll put it in bold. Who will be our referee? And maybe a down ref too, although that'll be too obscure maybe. Atlantis says, did the confused guy figure out what this was? No. I think he was looking for a gay hookup and found himself in the ARM Historian live stream. I can't blame him, right? Mike Collins says Roy Lev. That's a good option for a ref. So, our roster. How I want to do this, the draft, is... You guys, I think... There's not too many people in the live stream right now, where it will become too hectic. So you guys throw names at me, right? I'll write them down. If there's some name that someone feels like this person shouldn't take a spot in our one of the 24 spots, then we'll leave it up to you guys. And basically I'll create a poll. Do we keep this person in the roster? If we fill the 24 spots and there's still some people you would want in there, we can find a way to accommodate that too, and maybe vote someone off, maybe do a face-off between 2 people who are at the bottom of the roster. But right now, throw some names at me, your favorite athletes throughout history, from throughout history in their all-time prime. Hit me with them. I want to see. Muscle Bike says sausage stream. Yes. Sausage stream indeed. I think that goes for most arm wrestling streams. Tomer says Denis Siplenkov. It's a good one. I'll put him on there. I see Fia Reisig on a muscle bike. Okay. Hermes Gasparini from Mr. Roy Lev Ari. The Leviathan, says White Wolf. Mr. Lupkes himself. Richard Lupkes. Friendly Face, says Ryan Bowen, of course. How can we not include Mr. Bowen? Devon's Forearm says the Forearms of Devon. I'll keep that one off for the moment, but I'll keep that one in mind. Verbeer says John Brezink. Of course. Can't have a fantasy league without John Brezink, right? Roy Leff. Artyom Morozov. I'm sorry if I'm making some spelling mistakes or pronunciation mistakes. You'll have to forgive me for the time being. I'll double check the spelling. Tomer says the goat. Mindaugus. Are you talking about Terasatis or Dulskas there? Because I think Dulskas would have a bigger chance in the opens, but I'm assuming you mean Terasatis, right? Terasatis. Yeah, that's totally wrong. Correct me on the spelling of his last name if you can, guys. Tomer, Andrei Pushkar. Very good one, Tomer. If it's an all-time prime fantasy league, you can't forget about Andrei Pushkar, right? The Claymore says Cleve Dean. Yes, indeed, Claymore. I like it. Cleve Dean. Friendly Face. Travis Bajent. Tomer says, I don't mind if people want to take him off. I think Andrei Pushkar is a really good one. But Mindaugus might be a little difficult for Terasatis there. But yeah, who knows. He might stay in. I'm going to remind people, this is not a definite list. These are just the people who are eligible for drafting, right? We'll pick, by the end of this stream, we'll pick 3 to 5 people, something like in that realm, that are going to be in for sure out of this list. Devon's Forearm says Brian Shaw. I'll include Brian Shaw here. Hang on. Let me put the roster on a separate page. I think that makes more sense. Here we go. Roy Leff says Engin Terzi, the man that is taking arm wrestling to the masses. I'll include Engin Terzi. Muscle Bike says Hebri Lerat. There we go. There's Hebri Lerat. The Claymore. Jerry Cataract. I like it. I like it. Devon's Forearm says Devon Lerat not up yet. Indeed he isn't. But now he is. Late on the list, right? People don't have Devon on their mind, it seems. Or just assume that he's on there. Friendly Faces, RVJ. Friend of the channel, RVJ. Another nice guy that I've had the pleasure to meet and even pull with a little at Arm Gods. Roy Leff says, what this is the ones on the list or off the list? These people are people we can choose from to put on the list, right? There's going to be 24 athletes in total that we can recruit to our league. And these are names that people are throwing out right now in chat. By the end of today's live stream, we're going to pick about 3 to 5 people from this list that are going to be in for sure. And then during the next live stream, we're going to pick the remaining 20-ish people. I'm going to be running polls too. I'm going to be asking people outside of the live stream too, on my Instagram and the YouTube community tab, stuff like that, even on Facebook and Discord. I'm going to be asking people to give me more names for the possible roster. So yeah, this live stream we're going to be deciding on the 3 to 5 top picks, right? This live stream is all about who from this list of chat favorites are the top picks, the top seeds. The Claymore says Crazy George. I like it a lot. I like that one a lot. James, really good. Roy Lev says, what about 8-time world champ David Samusha? What about him? He's on the list. White Wolf says, what is Wild Horse Prime? Have we seen it? I have no clue, but I'll put him on there. Matt Mask, always a crowd favorite. Devin's Forum says, Jason Voorhees, please. Okay. Put Jason Voorhees on, but let's not stray too much into meme territory here. Roy Lev says, Paul Italia. There we go. Paul Italia is on the list. Who knows? Maybe he'll even make the final cut. I doubt it, but you never know. Tomer with another good one. Mr. Alexei Voivoda. Awesome. If Hebri Lorette is there, then Paul should be too. Muscle Bike says Nanya. Oh, jeez. Guys. Maybe we should pick some people that have a chance of doing at least somewhat well, right? Of winning a match, although I guess Nanya versus Hebri might be a close one. A Loki Lorette. Don't know Loki. Dave Chafer. I'll keep it on there. Dave Chafer. I like it better than Chafee. Loki for sure. What are you even talking about? White Wolf. And Devin's Forearm. Dave Chauffeur. Okay, too much, guys. The Claymore says, I nominate myself in my prime. I promise I'll smash. Mr. James Stewart is on there. I think that's how you spell your name, right, James? Correct me if I'm wrong. Loki's Devin's pup, okay. Roy Lev says Alijan Muratov. I like it. I like it a lot. It is right hand, but still. By Holly Stewart. Let's... Okay. I know I said every name you guys throw at me, but maybe we should keep the... You know, I'm not saying Holly's a bad arm wrestler, but maybe she has little chance against Denis Iplenkov. I don't know. Maybe. Tomer says Gennady Krikvinya. I like it. I'll be putting all of these into, into a picture, into a photo, and I'll upload it to Instagram, community tab, etc., etc., and let the people choose a couple of good ones, and a couple more people to include. Friendly Faces, Paul Maiden. I'll put Paul on there, why not? Muscle Bike says Popeye. Muscle Bike just can't help himself. Roy Lev says Svetkov. Yes. Let's get him on there. That's misspelled beyond the pale, but you know what I mean. I'm guessing. Paul's Prime Maiden. Yeah, we have Paul Maiden, we have Paul Italia. And I'm gonna put one of my picks on there too, Paul Lin. Just to complete the Paul trifecta, right? Let's have a round robin between Paul Italia, Paul Lin, and Paul Maiden. I think I know the outcome, but yeah, can never be sure, right? Jerry Excuserette. Yes, he's already on there somewhere, I believe. Yes, right here. Derek Smith, sure. I see Beerman, sure. That's an extensive list already. I think there's a couple of people that we're overlooking for sure, right? Who else is like a very obvious one? that we must be overlooking? I'm looking on Gold's arm throughout the entire list of armisters, but yeah. Way too many on here. Alex Kurdecha, how about him? I'll put him on there. Tim Bresnan, I like it, White Wolf. Top Troll King says Prime Schoolboy. Oh wait, I'll put Schoolboy on there, seeing as Ryan Bowen is on there. Might as well put Schoolboy on there. Krasi, now that's a good one. Thank you for that TOS move. Roy Leff says MMT, yes. Good one, Roy Leff. I think someone else who was in chat previously, I think Heath, wanted MMT in. So yes, we'll put him in for sure. Devon's Forearm, Alan Fisher. I like it. Tomer says, Prudnik, question, why is Prudnik higher on the rankings than Vitali? Is he really? I didn't know that, Tomer. I don't know why. Yevgeny Prudnik. Not Prudnik, Prudnik. Here we go. Vitali, Ila Leighton. Good one, White Wolf. TOS move. Cobra Rhodes, Mr. Rhodes. Can't miss him, of course. That's quite a couple, right? Okay, let's secure 3 athletes. I'll put a couple more on there that I see. I see Friendly Face saying Neil pickup. I see Roy Leff saying Zauer. I'll put them on there. Neil pickup and Zauer. I'm not even gonna try to spell his last name. Paizulev or something. Yeah, let's secure our 3. I think a couple of them are pretty safe includes, right? Like I said before, we'll draft the other ones during the next live stream because it's getting quite late here already. But I think we did a good job. Just to reiterate, 24 athletes will be joining in their all-time prime open weight class double elimination right arm tournament with a WAL rule set so far. This might change. I'll put it in italics. Here we go. This might change. But so far, it'll have a WAL rule set. We'll have to decide the referee. That'll happen next week. And Levan is not allowed to enter. Neil is banned by Arm Gods. Well, luckily, we aren't Arm Gods, so we're free to have Neil Pickup as well as Paul Maiden in the same league. We're so fortunate to have both of them available to us in our league. Verber says, me on roids in my future prime. You know, I didn't mind putting James Stewart on there when he asked in chat. So does that mean I have to include you too, Verber? Kind of the same level. All of us are arm gods in a way. They're muscle bike, that's certainly true. No Levan, says Devon's Forearm, and he seems happy. Let's include the GOAT. I want to use my executive decision-making skill to include the GOAT himself. Drafted. I'll call this one drafted. This is the roster we can pick from. Mr. John Brezink, our first draftee, right? There we go. Lincoln Hawk from Over the Top. I'll put him on there. Hermes. I think Hermes is in here, right? But you want him as one of our picks, right? I see Hermes. We'll keep that as a top contender right now. I think that's a pretty good pick too, right? All-time prime Hermes. It'd be interesting to see what people think, how he would do against some other people that maybe aren't active anymore, if you know what I mean. White Wolf says the GOAT in his prime beats everyone on this list. You're talking about Mindaugas Teresatis, right? Jeff Goldblum from The Fly. He'll break everyone's arm straight away. That would be no competition, Muscle Bike. Crazy George has the OS move. I'll move Crazy George up there too. As one of the top picks so far. I think that's a pretty good one. I think it's fine that Denis Iplenkov is up here too. As one of the favorites to get drafted, to get recruited, right? Drafted. That's how I put it. I think Richard Lapke is a pretty good one too. Should be pretty high up. What's another pretty obvious one that I think should be pretty high up here? I think Andrei Pushkar. Like, when else are you gonna get an opportunity to have Andrei Pushkar in the tournament? Same goes for Cleve Dean, right? And Hebri Lorat, of course, is in the same kind of stratosphere as the rest, I think. Of course, I'm joking. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill, okay. The stream is quickly deteriorating with just pop culture references so people want to see arm wrestling. Tomer says we need a strong hooker for the draft. Artyom Morozov. I like it. Artyom is kind of like Hermes in the sense that, in this league, in the sense that he represents the more modern puller, right? A very strong super heavyweight modern puller that I think is interesting to see how he would do against some of the all-time greats, so to speak. So yeah, I agree, he can be high. Arsen Liliev, that's another good one. I'll put in there right below Ryan Bowen, where he belongs, of course. Devon Leratz, yeah, I agree. I think Devon is still relevant enough. Certainly was in his all-time prime and still is. Maybe he is in his prime right now to be included as one of the draftees. Yeah, I agree there. Let's just do it. Bite the bullet. Devon is in. Who else? Let's round it out by picking our third draftee. Number 3. How can we not have Tell Me I'm the Greatest, Travis Bagent? Yeah, I'll put Travis high up there. I think basically it's kind of between these people, right? Kind of as another guaranteed spot. Who do you guys think out of these people would have a guaranteed spot as our top picks? Devil's Forum says Danny Tesh. That's a good one. I'll put him on there. Yeah, Devon Larratt is certainly on there. Devon's Forearm, but I'll put him in the drafted people. I think that makes sense. Rustam Babayev, yes, I'll include him on the roster here. And there we go. So yeah, let's decide on our final draftee here. Hermes Gasparini, Denis Iplenkov, Travis Bagent, Artyom Morozov, Cleve Dean, or Andrei Pushkar. I think those are, I'll maybe include Richard Lapke and Crazy George in that list too if you guys want. But I think one of these people deserves a spot as one of the top draftees. What do you guys think? I'll put it up to a little poll, right? The last poll of the stream. Who is the final top draftee, top 3 draftee? I'll put it up to a poll. I can only include, I think, 4 answers. So I'll put the top that I've just got here. We can come to a decision. Of course, have Hermes Gasparini, Denis Iplenkov. Is it Travis Bagent? Remember, it's a right-hand tournament. Is it Artyom Morozov? Yeah, and those are the maximum amount of poll options I can give you. But here we go. Get your votes in now. Don't do Dennis because he's gonna make it regardless of this poll. I think everyone on this poll is gonna make it eventually, to be fair. But I think there's some merit in trying to figure out like a top 3 draft picks kind of. I think that's a good way to close this week's stream. Yeah, pretty close. Travis Bajan is winning right now, but only by like 1 or 2 votes, I think. So versus Travis. So once again, a reminder, out of these 4 people, I think all of them will eventually make it in, probably, most probably. But this is just for a sure spot into the drafted roster, right? Roy Left says Travis is winning on the right. Bias voting. Some people maybe just want to see a prime Travis in the tournament. It's close between Dennis and Travis right now. Very close. I'll put the poll up on the live stream so people that aren't voting or interacting can still see the results here. It's close. Dennis and Travis are equal. So we'll need a tiebreaker vote. You guys aren't gonna do it, I'll do it. It seems like Dennis is taking it right now. With 45% of the votes going for Dennis as one of our top 3 picks, together with John Brezink and Devin Larratt. It's equal again. It's going back and forth. It's equal again. Roy Left says, well, if we are using legends like Devin and John, might as well be Dennis. Yeah. Some people might say Travis is a legend too. But it seems like Dennis is taking this one. 13 votes, 20 watching. Yeah, get your votes in if you haven't already. Of course, don't feel obligated if you're just lurking, just listening to the stream, that's fine too. I'm guessing, I'm hoping we'll get a little bigger audience during the actual matches. And once the league gets going and word gets out a little, might get a couple more votes in. At least that's what I hope. Yeah. And we'll be getting a special guest on too. So that's going to be exciting. White Wolf wants the Leviathan on there. So once TOS move, I think you don't have to worry. I think there's definitely going to be a spot for Richard Lupke's on there too, guys. Be sure to keep an eye on my social media accounts throughout the week, as I might run a poll or 2 there as well. So get your votes in there too on who you want to join. But right now we'll do 3 people that we want in, and then we'll finish out the complete draft next week. But right now it seems Dennis is taking it. I'll end the poll, I think. Thanks for casting your vote there, guys. It was a close one between Dennis and Travis. Rest assured, at least I think all 4 people will be making it in. But for now, our 3rd pick will be Denis Iplenkov. Troy Tueller coming in at the end of the live stream. Welcome, Troy. I went over it a couple of times, but I'll quickly reiterate. Troy is asking, how does this work? We're organizing a fantasy league right now. We're in the early stages. The league will have 24 athletes competing, which we're choosing now. We're choosing 3 people to draft right now. We just did that out of 24 in total that will be participating. The tournament will be an open weight class, double elimination right arm tournament under a WAL rule set so far. This is open to change, hence why it's in italics. And yeah, we still have to determine the referee. Of course, Levan Saganashvili is banned from the league, no Levan. And every live stream, people will be voting on several matches and the outcome of those matches. And we'll be discussing, we'll be discussing those matches during the live stream together with a special guest and the rest of chat. No worries, Troy. No worries at all. I don't mind explaining again, of course. We're happy to have you in the live stream. Muscle Bike says, how long until the highly anticipated engine video? Someone asked that earlier to Muscle Bike. I can't put a number on it, unfortunately. It keeps growing. It's become a monstrosity out of my control completely. But it's gonna be out sooner rather than later. I'm kind of getting burned out on it anyway, so I'll have to finish up the editing rather quickly before I get completely sick of my own voice even more. Devin's Forearm says, say Levan is banned from the league again. Sounds so good. Mr. Saganashvili will not be able to compete in our league, unfortunately. But John Brezink, Devon Lorat, and Denis Siplenkov, all in their all-time prime, will be competing in the league, which is exciting. I think those are good 3 top picks that we've just determined in this, our very first live stream of the Fantasy League. I thank you all for coming. I'll be closing it off pretty quickly here. I enjoyed it. I'm a little tired as it's pretty late already, but I greatly enjoy this as I do every live stream. I'm gonna leave the rules on here for like a minute or two while I end the stream. But I want to thank you all for coming. Friendly Faces, you have a pleasant voice. I appreciate that. Friendly Face. Yeah, I do appreciate that a lot. Muscle Bike says, I hope you managed to fit his eyebrows on it. Army Historian. Do my very best. Thanks for the entertainment. You're very welcome. Devin's Forearm, thank you all for joining. Once again, I'm live every Sunday at around the same time. I might start a little earlier next week. We'll have a special guest on commentating on the first couple of matches of the league. Of course, keep an eye on my social media accounts on Discord, as I'll be running a couple of polls there too throughout the week to determine more of our draftees. So definitely keep your eyes on there. Get your votes in. And yeah, I think this can be really fun, and I'm looking forward to next week. As always, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you dropping by. And yeah, see you next Sunday. Arm Historian, out. Bye-bye.